Hello, today I'm going to show you how I made a First Holy Communion card, and this card could be used for other occasions, simply just an all occasion greeting card, or confirmation, or anything that's kind of religious related, if you will. But I'm Catholic, and I'm using this for a First Holy Communion card for my niece, who loves light blue. So I thought I would customize the card to be different shades of blue to give to her. So the two main dies that I'm using is this first one, which is Birthday Wishes Vignette, and that is from Spellbinders. And I did pick this up on their warehouse clearance sale that they had about a month ago, and it was very, very reasonable at the time. I don't remember how much I paid for it, but it was more than 80% off. It was very low, and I knew that I could not use the birthday sentiment in the middle and use this for different occasions, such as this card. And later I will be using the flowers from the Picket Fence card kit of the month from Spellbinders, and add quite a lot of three-dimensional flowers. So I'm just going to use different cardstock. I typically use any cardstock that I have in my stash. It ranges from this paper pad, which I got as a gift from some students that I had in the past. They're so sweet, and I think of them a lot. And I also use paper from Stampin' Up, Creative Memories, Spellbinders, just kind of whatever's in my stash at the time. But I went with this. I think you can get this brand of paper, the color block, from Walmart. I could be wrong, but again, it was a gift, so I don't know specifically. So I went ahead and cut out that white piece, and then I used both of those dies. And now for this part, this light blue piece that's going in the background, I am going to cut out just that piece on blue so that when the white is on top, the blue shows in the background. And I'm just going to trim it down just a little bit so it fits in my die cutting machine. Now, I'm just going to talk about paper scraps for just a minute here, because with this card, I am going to use several little scraps to make some flowers. And the reality is, when I craft, I cannot physically keep all of my paper scraps. It is way too overwhelming, and it's too much. So what I do is I have wooden drawers like you see on the side here, and these were from a company that went out of business a long time ago. These used to be in my mom's craft room before they moved, and she gave them to me, and I have about 6 of these drawers that are just basic wooden drawers. You could use plastic, you could use even plastic baggies, but what I do is I keep the scrap papers in different drawers by color. So I have pink and purple, yellow, orange, red, blue, green, purple, and then I have a whole drawer dedicated to mirrored cardstock, and most of that is the gold mirrored cardstock. I do have a little bit of silver. Then the next drawer is white, black, and cream, and my bottom drawer is pattern paper. And that's it. These drawers are about an inch tall, and they are 12 by 12 drawers. So whatever fits in there is what I keep. That's it. I don't keep a whole lot. I lost my die, if you can see there. That's it. I cannot keep it all. So I just have a little bit, and that's what I go with. So back to my card. I just cut out a blue, kind of a pearly blue background for the chalice to go on, and the Eucharist as well. So now this chalice and Eucharist and ray die I got probably 3 years ago, and I bought it on AliExpress, and there's mixed feelings about AliExpress. I think that there are a lot of stores online that are ripping off or stealing art theft, if you will, other companies' designs and selling them, which is not cool in my book, but I did not know about that at the time. So I just would like to caution anyone using different stores like that, because there are people who create the designs and spend a lot of time making them, and for other companies just to take the designs, pretty icky. So I don't know who made this, but since I have it, I'm using it, but I do not recommend promoting art theft at all. And I do see a lot of different companies. I see Lawn Fawn on there, and it's not Lawn Fawn selling it. I see Spellbinders. It's just not nice. So I would not recommend companies such as that. So there's that. Anyway, just to glue on my white part, and for most of the card, I'm using liquid glue, just because it would be pretty hard to get all of the pieces, especially of this white die cut piece, to lay nicely, not using liquid glue, using some kind of tape runner. It'd be too messy, and I'm not interested. And on this card, I did invert it. So the curved part on the bottom is supposed to be on the top. At least it is on the inspiration sheet that came with my die here on the left. But it doesn't matter. It still looks fine. So I went with it. And if anyone's wondering, IHS stands for Jesus Christ. So I believe it comes from the Greek spelling, if you will. The gold mirrored cardstock is quite shiny, and the liquid glue tends to slide around a lot. So once it was down, I had to kind of be careful to not bump it and just kind of let it be. I know I mentioned that I'm not promoting art theft or art fraud in any way of any companies stealing designs, but I do want to mention, if you're interested in making a card that has some kind of chalice or Eucharist on it, there are dies from scrapbook.com, I believe, is what I saw when I just did a quick Google search. So if you're interested in finding those, I would definitely buy from a company that is well known, and something that is not taking the designs of someone else or some other company. Because again, that's just stealing, which we're not promoting stealing. Anyway, I did use some extra foam squares that I had from a card kit of the month that I used just to pop up the rays and the host. Now I'm taking a little bit of Glossy Accents and just adding a little bead of Glossy Accents to all of the white areas that have a little loop, just to give it a little bit of shine without adding any glitter. Now I just want to remind you that if you're using any Glossy Accents or any kind of medium like that, just to set it off to the side so you know that it won't be getting all over your work area or destroying your beautiful creations. So I waited about an hour or so and took a break, and now it's good to go. Now I'm using my little sidekick here and cutting out a lot of flowers just to adorn the bottom. And I'm using the dies that were from the card kit of the month, the Picket Fence. And again, it's just one more thing that I really enjoy about the Spellbinders card kit of the month, is because you get a die set that is not just good for 10, 20, 30 cards. You can use them over and over and over. And you get a stamp set that you can use over and over and over. As long as you take care of those things, those are items that last a long time. Now, to make my flowers a little bit more three-dimensional, I'm just putting them in my palm and using my reverse tweezers and giving them a little bit of a rub, and it bends it without leaving hard creases. You could use really any tool. You could use the back of a pen, you could use a cap of a marker, it could be anything. It doesn't have to be reverse tweezers. It could even be your other finger. But it's just a way that, sorry, you hear lawn. My neighbor is mowing the lawn. I will be right back. It's just the joys of summer. Anyway, like I was saying, you can use really anything just to create the folds in the flowers. I just think using the palm of my hand works really well because it's squishier than using a desk. But I know that there are tools that make it easy to make it rounded, but I don't use them because I don't want to spend money on that. I'd rather spend money on more stamps or dies or I don't know, something else. Anyway, with all of the scraps from my drawers, I'm going to cut out some blue flowers and really fill up this bottom area. And using my little sidekick here, it's easy to cut out small pieces quickly instead of using my big die cutting machine. Because I would like the flowers to have a lot of dimension, I'm going to go ahead and add multiple layers on top of each flower to give it volume. So I went ahead and picked off these little white centers, and I'm going to re-glue them after I add some more volume to give it some more dimension. This little spiky one is kind of neat. There we go, back on top. This is a pretty large die, the Birthday Wishes vignette. So I am making a 5x7 card for this, and I'm not too familiar with making 5x7 cards, just because I typically make A2 size cards, which are 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, but this die was pretty big, so I thought it called for a little bit of a larger card. So the card base is 5x7, and the blue background paper is 1/4 inch off of the card base, so that would be 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. At this point, I did not like how the blues matched exactly from the background of the vignette and the card base, so I went ahead and went with a lighter shade of blue just to give it a little bit more of a color change. Plus the blue on the background now matches the flowers in the flower area, so that was pretty neat. Then I'm going to add liquid glue behind the whole vignette piece and a little bit extra on the curly sides just to make sure that they stay down on the card base. Lastly, after this, I'm going to add some pearl embellishments, and I did pick those up on Amazon a couple years ago, and they seem to be endless. So if you've watched my videos before, you know that I use these pearl embellishments quite often, and there's still a ton there. So I'm going to add the third smallest size on the 5 big flowers and the second smallest size on all of the small little blue flowers. Now with this design, I did go ahead and make 2 other cards that look very similar with custom color choices. And I made that for a customer from my Etsy shop, so I will insert those pictures right after I am finished with my pearl embellishments. Here is the first card. It is pink and purple, and the customer requested a pink and purple one and a blue and green one. So that is what she got. So if you're interested in me making one for you, you can go ahead and click on the link in the description, and you should be able to find this card very easily on my Etsy shop. Thank you so much for watching, and if you liked the video, please hit the like button and subscribe for more videos in the future. Thanks so much for watching. Have a good day. Bye.